I'm William Timothy. I'm the Senior Director of Equipment Engineering and Facilities at Stion Incorporated. Stion hired me to take a warehouse in Mississippi and install a solar manufacturing operation in a time frame that, if achieved, would be the quickest build in the solar industry and at the lowest cost. Right now we currently occupy 294,000 square feet of that facility. Stion, when they decided to go to Mississippi, we did have a team that was selected and on the ground. That organization was having a lot of difficulties with the schedule and the cost. The reason why I approached Knepp Incorporated about supporting the Stion project is I've used Knepp Incorporated over the past almost 20 years for critical projects and other corporations that I've had needs at. Knepp Incorporated has always executed those projects in the timelines or improved those timelines and improved those costs. They've found ways to value engineer, right? And it hasn't been a situation where they're cutting systems or major components to get that cost. They're finding alternatives to the more costly items. They'll do the research, they'll look at codes, they'll look at every opportunity to control costs, because part of what they do very well for their clients is, again, they want that long-term relationship, so they're trying to drive cost to the appropriate level so the client gets the most value for their money. They're trying to drive the schedule so the client can start to realize a return on that investment as soon as possible. This project was being called a design build, but the reality of it is it was being built, and then as it was being built, the designs were being laid down on blueprints in order to execute it. So it was very fluid, very dynamic. Knepp Incorporated figured out how to get the demolition done. While the demolition work was being done, they also got the mechanical subcontractor to start installing all the piping and working to get those infrastructures in. In a traditional sense, you would do the demolition first and the construction second. In this case, it happened simultaneously without any additional cost, any overruns, any in the schedule, and no compromise in quality. And it was complex because in order to get those base systems in, typically you do them before the manufacturing equipment arrives. In this situation, the equipment was going to arrive, and so some things had to be done in order to be able to set the equipment, not damage it, not interrupt it. But because of the execution, tools came in, they were set on time, the installation crews didn't have to be delayed, and that's their forte. That's what they specialize in, that's what they're very good at. One of the challenges with projects is always permitting. There was a requirement for an exit corridor to keep employees safe. One of the issues was that particular requirement was going to drive a $2 million adder. Knepp Incorporated found alternative ways to meet the fire code requirements and execute the plan and reduce the cost by $1.7 million. In the beginning, when Knepp Incorporated came back as a low bidder, my impression was, they forgot something. The reality was that they didn't forget something. They felt that the cost for that project was the cost that they were providing, and they felt they were making a fair margin. And that's one of the things I really like about Knepp Incorporated. The piece that they bring to the project that most companies don't provide is discretion and being able to work as a customer rep to drive down costs, to improve schedules, to work with agencies. Typically, the other organizations I've used don't give you that complete package. Because in a supplier situation, a lot of times what happens is a supplier will tell you, you asked me to give you X, I gave you X. Well, in Knepp Incorporated, role and the way they do business is there isn't a defined X. They try to add value wherever they can add value.